Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. Hope you're having a great day. You're listening to the Service Business Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Tersh. Today we have Diane Gardner. We're going to talk about numbers, and she's a tax coach, a profit coach, a speaker, and a best-selling author. And I'm super excited about this because a lot of times when people come to me and ask me questions, a lot of it pertains to their numbers and not knowing their numbers and how to improve their numbers. And so this is perfect conversation to have with Diane and to introduce you to her. And I really hope that you reach out to her after this episode to learn more about it. But with that being said, welcome to the show.
Hey, Tersh, thanks so much for having me on your program today. I'm excited to share some great information about numbers, and hopefully we'll make it fun in the process.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about you, your background, and what makes you an expert in this.
Well, what makes me an expert is I've taken some additional training and stuff so that I'm able to not only help people save money on their taxes in their business, but also to be able to identify the profit leaks. And most people don't realize that their business has profit leaks. Right. And so as a part of doing that, I have become a certified profit first professional. And not only that, but moved up to the mastery level. Nice. So that means we bring some great value in using those profit first foundations and the strategies and the philosophies and stuff, and start plugging those leaky holes in your business. I always take the picture of a bucket of water, and you've got big holes and then you've got little small holes, and some businesses are gushing out the big holes. Others might only be dribbling out the smaller holes, but every business has leaks. And so let's get those plugged. And then once we get the holes plugged, now your profits start going up and you have a whole new problem of owing too much tax. And then we start working on it from that angle as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, it's like a catch-22, and sometimes people are like, "Yeah, at least I don't have to pay taxes." But in a perfect world, you'd have both of them fixed.
Yes, you want to get both fixed from both sides, but we got to fix the leaks first.
So tell me this, like, how do we get started? Like, what's the process? Like, run me through one of your because I know you have a 12-week program, don't you?
I do. We call our program the Path to Increased Profitability. Okay. And in that program, we teach our members how to utilize the profit first principles. So we start out with the profit first assessment report. And in that report, we will show you what your percentages are that you're spending in various parts of your business versus what they should be based on some national trends. And then we start putting together a plan to help you move from where you are today to where you really should go for tomorrow. And that plan, we roll it out in a slow time period. We know that we can't get you from maybe 1 or 2% where you are today. We want to get that profit up to 20%. We can't do that overnight. Mm-hmm. So we'll roll it out in a strategic plan, and it might be over 6 quarters. It might be 8 quarters, depending on your business, because we know you have to keep operating and we can't just start cutting costs willy-nilly here and there. We have to
that was gonna be my next question, is how fast does it happen? Because it is scary, because I think about things that I know are profit killers, but at the same time, like, if I just went through and slashed everything really fast, our culture could go down the tubes.
Yes, we don't want to kill your culture. We want to actually help improve your culture at the same time while we're plugging leaks. So in one of my last groups, a couple of my people were going through we have them going through their bank statements and their credit cards, and we're looking for those recurring charges. Mm-hmm. And they hit a couple of these. It's like, I don't even know what this means, because you get this, whatever is on your bank statement or your credit card statement, and it's a shortened version of whatever company you bought services from. So then they'd have to go back and figure out what that is. Mm-hmm. And realize that we haven't used that service in 3 years or something, and It's still hitting your bank account. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Mm-hmm. And let's get that stopped. So we start able to, start plugging some of those leaks in your business and putting that money back in your bottom line.
What would you say, somebody, before they get started with you, there's something they can do on their end before, like, they have every intention of joining up with you, but just to get started beforehand?
Just to get started, I would say pick up the book Profit First. Mm-hmm. And it's available in book format. It's available in audio format. Start listening to it or reading it. Mike's got some great information in there on how to just get your mindset, because so much of it is a mindset thing. It's easy to open bank accounts and transfer money, but until the mind is there and you're willing to make that hurdle, it's terrible, like pushing that boulder up a hill until you're ready to do that.
And I talked to so many people, and they even have troubles getting the bank accounts open. They're so dead set on doing an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm like, do the bank accounts.
Do the bank accounts.
Mike is adamant. There's reasons why Mike is so adamant about the bank accounts.
And in the book, Mike lets you make your transfers twice a month. My clients make them every week. Every Monday is bank account transfer day.
Cool. Yeah, that's the same thing we do. We do it once a week also.
Yep. And so all my members are reporting in to me. Here's what we transferred for last week. So we have accountability in the group, and we have a little bit of peer pressure, a little bit of competition, who's transferred how much. And
do they have to report back to you if they like take some out of the profit account to put back into the OpEx account or something like that?
Pretty much. Yeah. I have them reporting this kind of stuff to me because it's really easy to I'm just going to slide that over, and we want them to hold fast. I mean, it's hard to put boundaries in place.
Yeah, it is.
It's super hard. And that's what we're doing, putting boundaries in place by setting up these separate bank accounts, and depending on the person, whether we let them set them all up at one bank or not. We might make them set them up at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different banks just to keep them from doing that.
It's so easy to do it. You're just like, oh, I need a little bit of extra cash. Let's just slide it over there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have to go to another bank though, and physically withdraw it and put it into your other bank.
Then inconvenient. Yes. It slows you down. Yes.
And the walk of shame.
The walk of shame. You bet.
That is really cool. So how often are you doing these classes, and how what's your target person for joining this class?
So the person who gets the most value out of this class is, number one, is somebody who's coachable, who's willing to take new ideas, and who's willing to do hard things, because some of this is going to be way outside their comfort zone. The next item on there is that they're willing to work in a group environment, because we turn this group into a mastermind of sort. Yeah. So there's a lot of collaboration and sharing of resources and stuff. The next item is we prefer to have businesses that are at least $1 million in sales. Okay. I don't want somebody who's brand new, because they will slow down the group. Yeah. Everybody else in the group is generally at least $1 million. Most of them are 4 or 5 million on up. But we want a good, solid business that's been running. And then the next criteria is that they're an action taker. That when we have them do something like set up your bank accounts, by the time you come to next week's meeting, the accounts are set up. Yeah. And I'm not reminding you 4 weeks later, we still don't have those accounts set up. Come on, what's going on here? Because we don't like doing walk of shames in the group. We want to keep it positive. And we start a new one pretty much every quarter. Okay. So we'll be kicking off our next one middle of January. And that'll carry us through for 12 weeks. Once we get to the end of 12 weeks, they all go, don't drop me, because we're starting to get some momentum. And so then we offer a secondary program called our Profit Maximizer program. And that is just a month by month by month. And we can continue on, into many years down the road, and continue helping them build off of these, foundational principles.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And it is so often that I hear the complaint about knowing your numbers and how do I implement the profit first. And it's really cool that I have somebody I can turn these people to now. Like even like within CEO Warrior, you're a vendor partner within CEO Warrior. So that's really cool. And then, you've been down here to Savannah and met with Jesse and everybody. So you're running the same circles as we do. So it's really cool that you know a lot of the same people, and I can just simply turn people to you.
Yeah. And it's so nice that because those same people, that they'll return your phone calls, they'll return your emails. Yeah. If you've got an issue, I've got a wonderful support team out there that I happen to somehow find myself in over my head or whatever, I've got that amazing support group, because we do run in those same circles.
That is really cool. What did I forget to ask you?
Let me think a second. You caught me off guard.
That's my goal.
Your goal. You did it.
No, I like to, I don't want to ever end anything and say, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I like to ask that before I end
I
up in an
think I
interview.
would talk a little bit more about what can be accomplished
Let's
by
do that.
implementing
Yeah,
profit first in your
I'd love
business.
to see that.
You bet. One of the things that we're finding in our group is that not only are we plugging holes, so they're adding profit to their bottom line, they're becoming more comfortable with their numbers. So that is huge because now they're making better decisions. They're a better leader for their team because they understand what those numbers are. We spend some time talking about how to read and understand your financials.
Hmm.
Even those who come into the group saying, I understand this, will come up with questions. I tell them, ask me the questions you've always wanted to ask your accountant, but were afraid to ask.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
we get some really good discussion questions going there and some drilling in deep. Well, why? Why is this an expense versus an asset? Why can't I depreciate this? Why can't I pay for this out of my business? Just some of that why behind the things that you're told you need to do by your accountant, and
Hmm.
you just do it, but you don't
Right.
understand why behind it. And then how that rolls off into you being a better team leader, a better leader in your business, making those better decisions. We can get into some tax planning strategies at some point to where you're not just run out and buy more equipment all the time.
Yeah.
That's not the best strategy. It can
Right.
be a good one, but it's not the best one depending
Absolutely.
on where you're at in your business. We also, during our program, and you and I were talking offline, well, we have our members read Jesse Cole's Find Your Yellow Tux. And we
Yes.
spend some time on working on how to yellow tux their business because my goal is that you're not competing with your competitor, you're competing with yourself.
Absolutely.
And if you're not competing with your competitor, now you're not driven by that lowest price factor or any other of those factors. So we figure out where's the bar with your competitors, and do we have to just step over it or we have to jump over it? And what can we do? And the members are coming up with the most amazing ideas, things I never could have come up with myself. And so from that, they're driving some huge new annual sales that are going to hit their companies because of coming up with these new ideas. So we have a lot of fun in these groups,
That's
as well
awesome.
as
I could
digging into
I
numbers.
could only imagine how it feels for you to watch that blossom. Like you just
Hmm.
watch it across the whole thing, and then they come up with these
Right.
ideas, and you're like, wow, that's a really good idea. And then you watch it even you know become even bigger.
Right. As you watch them, 6 months from now, a year from now, as they implemented this. And then, of course, in our Profit Maximizer program, we'll come back to that idea table that they created.
Hmm.
Okay, this one's running. What are we going to try next?
I like that. That's really
And
cool.
oh, that's been amazing. There's been an amazing amount of sharing of resources in the group because they feel safe. It's a safe environment. They can come
Exactly.
in, they're with like-minded people. We make sure that our members are not geographically located close to each other. They're
Hmm.
all over the US. So there's freedom to talk. You don't have your competitor in the group
Absolutely.
because we don't want to teach them the yellow tux ideas.
Well, that would stunt the conversation really
Yes, it
quickly.
would. Yeah. And so there's been some great collaboration. I know there's been several of them that have carried conversations offline to where they could dig in a little deeper with something with each other. So it's been a great learning experience for them. They come out of it saying that they understand their numbers better.
Hmm.
They are making better decisions. Their team is working better. There's more accountability. We run them through a program called the Labor Burden Calculator.
Mm.
And that's a piece of software that allows them to put in all of their employee costs, the hard costs as well as the soft costs, the vacation and the pay and the sick pay and all those kinds of things. Then we factor in all their overhead costs. Then on top of that, we have them determine how much unproductive time does every one of their employees have over the course of the year. And then we start looking for how can we get 10% wins? How
Mm.
can we cut that unproductive time by 10%? And then down the road, let's cut it by another 10%. How can they be more effective and efficient? So, just an example from one of my members in Florida, she determined that she was going to go to the shop because she worked from home and did all the books and stuff from home. So, she started hanging out at the shop and found out that her guys came into the shop. Coffee and donuts was available every morning for them.
Yep.
So, that gave them the reason to stand around and visit. Half an hour later ish, they finally get in their truck and head out. And then she found that once they put the GPS units in, that there was another couple coffee breaks throughout the course of the day.
Oh yeah.
Before they got back to the shop. So we were calculated an hour a day per team member out there. And when I put the dollar number to that to her, she about lost it.
Oh, I bet.
That was costing them. That was a big hole in the bucket that was gushing out. So she's taken away the donuts and moved them to a different. Now periodically when they get together and they go over their numbers, that's when the donuts show up. Not every morning.
Yeah.
And just like they've tightened up some things, and they anticipated they'll probably save, I don't know, 70, 80,000 this year in payroll costs. Yeah. Because now it's productive and instead of non-productive. That's the kind of stuff that comes out of this by digging in and learning your numbers.
I love that. That is really cool.
She never would have known that leak was there.
Nope. Absolutely not. And then in one aspect, you're thinking culture, but then you have to think, we have to stay in business. We have to weigh those options.
And you got to keep that in balance.
Yeah.
And so they were able to come up with other little ways to keep the culture going without spending a half an hour every morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Diane, where do we get in touch with you? Where do we learn more?
The best place to go would be www.profitcoach4u. That's Profit Coach, the number 4, YOU.com/master. And on that link, we have a special gift for you.
Sweet. I'm excited. I am so excited. Thank you.
Yes. On there, we have our profit meter quiz.
Ooh, profit meter
quiz.
So
you can go in and answer a few questions and find out what your score is for how profitable are you doing in your company as far as all these leaks and coming out of your business.
And hopefully you know those numbers.
Yes, hopefully.
Cool, Diane. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And anybody that's listening, I hope that you take a second and go to that link and get that, take that quiz and learn more. And when we're live back in CEO Warrior, I look forward to seeing you in person too, Diane.
You bet. Maybe we can grab a dinner together or something instead of eating there at the facility.
There you go. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you again. And thank you everybody listening and watching this show. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Diane or myself. I'll put all these links in the show notes, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a great 2020.
How about 2021?
Yeah, 2021. That's what I'm talking about. Get rid of 2020. 2021. Yes. Let's bring in a great 2021. Y'all have a great day.